Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of...
It's your boy LJ, and welcome back to Reaction LJ. Pixar, Luca is incredibly underrated.
The worst time to do literally anything. Not that it matters to me very much, because the only time I go outside is to pick up my daily 4 Uber Eats orders. It's gotten to the point now where the Uber Eats app is like, we noticed you ordered Subway 8 times this week. You're not alone. Help is available. But all the same, with summer here, I wanted to do some summer type movies, you know? Like I did Mamma Mia a couple months ago, but surely there must be more summer movies.
Wait,
Back during
Mamma Mia.
COVID lockdown, tons of movies were coming straight to streaming. Remember that? Like so many movies just came and went and no one ever thinks about them now. Like for example, Pixar put out Soul, Turning Red, Onward, Lightyear, Element.
Hey, pause right there. There's so much movies that came out this year. Pixar came out with so much movie that no one really thought or think like, what is the biggest, or what is the catchiest, or what is the greatest one. No one thought about it.
So and Luca all during this time.
And
Everyone
Luca
loves Turning
would
Red, but like
actually a
no
good
one remembers anything about any of these other ones, like at all. And I was thinking about how
Right.
like maybe these movies didn't get a fair shake. It was a weird time, you know, like every single commercial was
Most
like,
of them
hey
didn't
guys,
get a
life's
fair
real
shake.
crazy right
Most of
now,
them
but we're all in this
didn't
together.
get
So like
the
buy a new car or
recognition
something or
they
whatever.
deserve.
But all the same, Luca came out in 2021. It got good reviews. People liked it well enough. But like I said, it was just so ephemeral. And so looking at some summer movies to make videos about, I wanted to go back and check out Luca. So come along, kids, let's take a walk.
Hold on. Stop. Did y'all forget to follow me on Instagram and subscribe?
Wait, whoa.
Can y'all follow me and subscribe at the same time? Y'all can, because it's hard to do. And let's see what's really going on in this video.
The movie starts out with our main character, Luca, who's like a merman fish shepherd.
Yep. Isn't Luca supposed to be like Little Mermaid? Isn't Little Mermaid and Luca is like similar?
Just a quick shout out to Pixar here for not using the goat scream meme, which was funny for all of 2 weeks back in 2009 and never again. But someone in Hollywood still thinks this is comedy gold, I tell you what. Anyway, so Luca's just your average 13-year-old merman who just kind of like lives the same day over and over again, doing chores, never leaving his home, always wondering what's above the surface of the ocean but too scared to find out.
Luca.
Huh?
What's on your mind?
I was just wondering, where do boats come from?
Oh, trust me, Luca. Nothing good goes on up there.
Hey,
Open up
hey,
any
trust
social
me,
media app and
nothing
scroll for just like a
goes
little bit
good
too
on
long
when
and
you,
you're just like,
Often than most people.
Lord, I am ready, take me in your arms. But okay, so one day, Luca's out herding his fish, as one does. And he
Hold on, Lord. Did you heard what that was? Lord, can you please explain to me how that even represent or make any sense to the freaking video?
something a little interesting at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, just like Ariel, where Ariel trying to see what really going on in the up above water. After finding
Now, he was curious
all
before,
the
okay, but
human
obviously this makes his
things.
interest in the human world, like, even stronger. So, Ariel sings a song about wanting to be part of the outside world and look at everyone's feet, or whatever the
I
song's
was
about.
right.
But then the chief of the
They
island's
do
like, no,
represent
Moana, you're
look like
staying here,
Ariel.
because it's too dangerous. But then Rapunzel's like, shut up, you're not my real mom. This is my house
Yeah.
too, okay? But turns out Luca's grandma has been to the surface before?
The land monster town, just above the surface. I beat a guy at cards there once.
Mom, what are you doing?
He's old enough to hear about it.
You've been to the surface and done the change?
No, the end. Shut it down.
You ever, like, hang out with old people and they'll just casually drop the most insane lore for
Yeah.
no reason?
Hang
Hey,
out with
Grandma, I'm
old
almost
people
done
and
making
they
your favorite
casually just
breakfast,
drop the
applesauce
bomb
and
like,
medicine.
hey,
You know, back
hey,
in the
I already
70s, I
been
killed
doing
2 of
that.
my husbands with
So
antifreeze.
you can't lie, or they can't just tell you what really go on. Without even
But okay, so one day,
thinking
probably
that
the
they
next day,
actually
I assume,
understand.
Luca's out doing whatever he does, and then something a little weird happens.
what?
No gods or kings, only man.
At this point, I thought Luca was gonna die. I thought he was gonna die at that
It's
point.
fine. I'm not human.
So this little dude is Alberto, and he loves to swim around and gathering up all the human garbage he can find. Asmongold, and then just takes it all up to the surface?
Yeah, he take it out to a certain like normal person. Now, this don't represent Ariel, because if Ariel try to go to the surface, she won't be able to like transform into a human. But with Luca, it's like when they go to the surface,
Oh no,
they
Luca,
turn
you're
from
human now.
human.
Don't do
Then
it.
when
This is
they
how it starts.
get
Next thing you know,
wet,
you're walking
they
down the
turn from
frozen
back to
dinner aisle,
mermaid.
looking at the packages and thinking, oh wow, that is a good amount of protein for 500 calories. Meanwhile, there's a bag of broccoli in the back of your freezer. It's been there since like 9/11 happened, just disintegrating into dust and broken dreams. Anyway,
Yeah,
turns out
it's like
Alberto's
when
just
you
like some
leave
orphan
certain
mermaid kid
food
who
in
just
the
like
back of
hangs
your,
out all day.
freezer
It's very like
freezer,
Ghibli-esque
and then
kind of
forget
place. Really,
after
this whole movie
2,
has some
3
great Ghibli
weeks,
vibes, which
and
was
then
intentional
you're like,
apparently.
oh,
And like it
dang.
really sets this movie apart. Like it gives it such a cozy kind of feeling that I don't think any other Pixar movie has. But okay, so the next chunk of the movie is just
What?
about like Luca and Alberto being friends, and Alberto's teaching him all about how to be human. You know, like how to walk.
Oh.
Wait, it feels like it's still there.
Yeah, that's called Phantom Tail. You'll get used to it. Right. Walking. Don't worry, you're in luck. I basically invented it.
And most importantly, how to ride a Vespa. Now this is a huge pivotal plot point here because for some reason, Alberto and Luca are just real set on living out their Lizzie McGuire movie dreams, you know, getting their own Vespa and just kind of hey-nowing their way all over Italy. Nay, the world.
Okay.
What's that?
Oh, it's just the greatest thing that humans ever made. The Vespa.
Whoa.
You just sit on it, and it takes you anywhere you want to go. In the whole stinking world.
Vespa is freedom.
Now, this whole idea is very appealing to Luca because he spent his whole life herding fish to and fro, but also his parents have started to catch on to his little shenanigans.
It's like Luca never actually experienced the world or experienced the human world because his parents always think that human are bad people and that human will only care about themselves and harm them. That's all the parents do. That's why they try like not let the grandma tell Luca what the actual surface is.
Going to the surface of all things. See, I knew letting you on that has-been hotel RP Discord would lead to nothing but trouble.
The world is a very dangerous place, Luca. And if I have to send
How
you to the
you
bottom
know?
of the ocean
Were
to
you up
keep you
there?
safe, so be it.
You don't know what it's like up there.
Experience
I know
the
you.
actual
And I
human
know
world?
what's best for you.
No.
You know, few things are more frustrating than parents who, like, think
Yeah,
they know you,
I
but, like,
would hate
they
when
literally
my
don't.
parents
Now,
say,
Luca's parents
"Hey,
are done
I'm
letting their
gonna
son be raised by
protect you.
TikTok and
If-
video
if
games. All right,
better
so they
for
call him the
me
dad's brother,
if
a.k.a.
you
Luca's
are
uncle,
there
because that's
in
how
my-
that works. And this guy knows
my
a thing or two
seat.
about troubled
I
teens,
don't
okay?
want nothing to hurt you, so
oxygen
I
up here,
can
not like the
protect
deep.
you.
Sure, there's no sunlight,
You more
but there's
than-
nothing to
than
see
you know.
anyway. All
I hate
the
when parents say
whale
that.
carcass you can eat. You can't see it. So if the mouth opened, the whale carcass go in. Yes.
You know, I feel
That-
like everyone
that
has
really
that
didn't
one,
make
like,
no
absurdly
sense
out-of-pocket
at all,
uncle who's
what
just
you
always
just
like,
said.
yeah, you know, I used to be married, but she left me for a polar bear. I don't trust banks. I keep all my money folded between craft singles. Sometimes I wonder, like, you ever teeth? So the plan is to send
Yeah.
Luca away with his uncle to the depths
you
of the
ever
ocean so he can
teeth?
spend the summer
Or do
in
you
darkness.
know
But so
what's
now
going on?
especially, Luca wants that Vespa to ride around with Alberto all day, every day, doing cool human stuff like being on hold with the DMV for 4 hours and then they tell you have to come in person. So then you go there and you wait
yeah.
another 2.5
Hey.
hours and then the girl behind the
It's better to be a mermaid than doing the human stuff. Human life is boring as fuck. It's like you gotta be on hold with DMV for how long? You gotta listen to their darn things, stinking damn music. Then you gotta go and wait to get your license. Then you gotta try to figure out how you're gonna survive. Then you gotta get a job. Like, oh, I wish I could just live as a mermaid and don't have to worry about all this and this.
desk is like, hey, did you know that you can do all this over the phone instead? Wow, why didn't I think of that? So they head into the local town of Porto Rosso to find Senor Vespa and get their complimentary Vespa from the Teen Coming of Age movie factory.
Ride of Porto Rosso coming through! Ciao, Belen. You're making me blush.
wants to watch me eat a big sandwich?
So this guy is Urkele, the coolest dude in town, in case you couldn't tell. And he bought his Vespa by winning this like local triathlon thing the town puts on every year. And he's won it like 5 times in a row, much to the chagrin of local redhead Spitfire quirky girl, Julia.
That's how you're training for the race?
Cierto, your reign of terror is coming to an
Are
end.
you really
You mean like a
challenging
year
him
ago
with
when you quit
a
in the middle
fish?
of the race because you
Who
couldn't stop
challenged someone
throwing
or
up?
start a
I
fight
didn't quit.
with someone
They
with a
made me
fish?
stop.
I think that is worse.
So Luca and Alberto figure that Julia must know a thing or two about how Urkele got that Vespa, right? And she tells them that every year there's this Porto Rosso competition for 12 to 16-year-olds. They have to do like a swimming thing, eat a huge plate of pasta, and then ride a bike on this crazy mountain course. And apparently winning this gives 12-year-olds enough money to buy a Vespa. The heck kind of place is this? And so, long story short, Luca and Alberto team up with Julia to enter the competition. They want the money for a Vespa, obviously, but Julia doesn't really seem to care much about the money itself. She's only in it for revenge.
Why do you want a Vespa again?
Oh, because it'll be amazing. Every day, me and Alberto are gonna ride someplace new. How about you? What'll you do when you win?
Oh, I'll get up in front of everyone and say, told you I'd win.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're just doing it for revenge.
So, like, I was
You're
curious,
doing
I
it
looked this
for
up,
your
and apparently
own
Urkele is
self-esteem.
18. He just spends
Wow.
all of his time stunting on 13-year-olds. Like, what a
Wait,
guy.
wait,
and so our
wait,
three main
wait,
characters
wait.
train and
He
practice. Julia's gonna
18?
swim, Luca's gonna do the
And
bike
he
part,
a
and Alberto
young
has the very
man
difficult
stuck
task of
on
eating pasta.
minors?
Now, during all this training, Luca,
What
Alberto,
wrong
and Julia are
with
quickly
you?
becoming friends, and Luca gets really interested in this weird thing called school.
This is how machines fly?
See?
And there are big towns called cities, and we're all on a big round rock, floating around a star in the solar system.
So cool, right?
And is there anything beyond the solar system?
I don't know. But next year, in advanced astronomy, I'm going to use my school's telescope.
But Alberto's starting to become a little jealous of Luca and Julia's friendship because Luca is his friend, okay? And here comes some girl with like hair and stuff and her comically deep knowledge of space, trains, and dinosaurs. And she's like, hi, I like rocks and I'm emotionally unavailable. And then Luca's over here like, and by Luca, I mean me, and by Julia, I mean every girl I've ever dated. But like Alberto just wants to ride the Vespa around the world together, you know? And Luca's over here talking about going to school like a nerd.
Julia says there's an even bigger one at our school.
The whole reason we're getting a Vespa is to live on our own. We don't need school. We don't need anybody.
Couldn't we just try it? Just for a few days?
Luca, sea monsters can't go to school.
Now, this kind of erupts into something a lot bigger than any of them intended when Alberto tries to ruin Luca and Julia's friendship by exposing himself to Julia. Wait, guys, no, hold on. Let's try that one again.
So you're telling me that you by expose yourself so he can stop being firm with her? How selfish do you gotta be to do something like that?
Him as merman to Julia.
Don't hurt us!
See? I knew this would happen.
Monster!
Luca?
Stay back!
Luca, my dude, what the heck? I was on your side. Why'd you have to go and do that? Slight tangent here, but I do appreciate that they let Luca, like, make mistakes and kind of be bad or whatever. Like, so many modern movies, they're so afraid of having their main characters, like, be an imperfect human who gets caught up in their emotions. That's one thing about the Disney live-action remakes that always kind of annoys me, is, like, the main characters are always just these, like, perfect beacons of justice, and, like, they never do or say anything wrong. They have no internal struggle whatsoever. But anyway, also, while this is all going on, Luca's parents have started to catch on to what he's been doing this whole time.
Dang. They actually
Hey, you know, same thing happened to me back in middle school when my parents found my fake out-of-town girlfriend who totally lives in Canada. They weren't mad. They just cried for a really long time. But so they end up going to the surface to look for Luca, trying to figure out which human kid is theirs. You know how it is.
Hey guys, can I play too? Oh, sorry, I'm not used to lights.
Oh, okay.
Dracula, get the ball!
Come and get it.
Not our kid, not our kid.
This mom just murders like 17 kids. Anyway, so the end of the movie, Luca and Julia end up doing the competition separately because, understandably, Alberto has run off to be alone forever. Luca uses Alberto's scuba suit from earlier so as not to turn back into a fish man. They both eat their respective absurdly large bowl of pasta, and then it's time for the bicycle part. Except it starts to rain, and as we saw earlier, when they touch water, they turn back into mermen, right?
Yeah,
so what is he gonna do?
Yeah, so
Just stay right there.
Alberto.
I'm coming for you.
Afraid of a little rain?
Hey!
Huh? For the last time, you two don't belong here. Get out of my town.
No!
And so, the very end of the movie, everyone in town sees that Alberto is a sea monster, but Luca decides to throw the race and go save Alberto from being hunted by the townspeople, which of course means that...
Hey. W friend. But I can't say W because didn't you already call your friend a sea monster and then you end up pretending like you and scare him? Now, that can't be a W friend. It can't. Cause you already threw him out like you were trash, and then now you're trying to be his friend now? Luca. No, Luca.
Luca's cover's blown too, and then everyone's like, ah. However, by escaping from Rockaway, they end up kinda sorta winning the race, question mark?
They're not even people!
Signora Marsigliese?
Technically, legally, yes, they won.
We won?
Who cares if they won? They're sea monsters!
Hey, well, there's nothing in the rulebook that says a dog can't play basketball. And just like that, racism is cured forever. The humans and sea monsters live in harmony together and no one was ever mean ever again. Luca's parents realize that the little boy is growing up and needs to live his own life, so he ends up going to school with Julia. But she goes to school in some far-off city, and she was just staying in this town for the summer. And so when she goes back, she takes Luca along with her.
I'm okay, piacere. Girolamo, trombetta.
Seriously, what does that mean?
No idea. Go find out for me, will ya?
And then Luca and Julia ride off together on the train, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. Yeah, this movie's definitely much smaller scale than something like Cars 3 or Coco or even Soul. But you know, there's something I really like about just how cozy it is. It almost feels like Kiki's Delivery Service or something like that, where like it's not about saving the world or reviving a dead god or whatever. It's just kids spending the summer together learning important life lessons.
Yeah. Now, it like, what Alberto's saying is like kids just being kids, basically. It like, there always gotta be a lot of meaning to it, but in this case, it really not a big meaning to it.
Like the power of friendship and how older kids are always mean for some reason. I think this movie deserves a lot more than it got in terms of being in like the Pixar pantheon, you know? Not that it's this amazing, mind-blowing experience, but like, I don't know, it's just such a nice, cozy, easy watch. You know what I mean? This movie made some really interesting choices that I think make it end up being a lot more than the sum of its parts. Like with Julia's dad, for example, we see that he's missing an arm, and regarding that, he says this.
Why are you looking at them like that?
A sea monster ate it.
Huh? What?
No. This is how I came into the world.
It would have been so easy to fall back on like the usual trope of like he lost his arm when he was a kid because of a sea monster and he's been hunting them ever since, or his missing arm is the source of his jaded personality, like that one fish in Finding Nemo, you know? But no, he just has one arm and like it doesn't mean anything. He's lived a perfectly normal life up to now. Little things like this make this movie stand out, to me at least. I also love when Julia gets upset and she just yells cheese names.
Oh, Santa Mozzarella.
Oh, Santa Gorgonzola, I need to pack.
So you tell me when she get upset or mad?
Like, I wish we got a lot more movies like this, honestly.
Damn.